Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. That is the R and the RK Stumbling Bear, and I am a reader and a writer. And today I am here to talk about my June TBR. For the past 2 months I've been very ambitious and I've been just trying to read everything that I've been getting out from the library, but my library shelf has expanded very much, and I decided to narrow it down to the things that I really want to focus on this month. So I am going to be participating in Translate-a-thon, which is run by Rhea over at the Bookfinch, and that goes from June 14th through June 21st. There are multiple prompts for this, but I am only going to be doing just read a translated book, since there are other books that I also want to get to. And the book that I chose originally was The Count of Monte Cristo, but then I realized what I had was an adapted children's version. And no, if I'm going to read The Count of Monte Cristo, I want it to be the full version, not an adapted one. So I'm actually going to unhaul that book, give it to somebody else who wants to give it to their kid, and I chose a different book on my shelf. And the book that I chose is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. This is by Frederick Bachman, and I have read a book by him before, so I already know I like his writing style. What I understand is this is about Elsa, a little girl whose grandmother died, and when her grandmother dies, her grandmother leaves several letters apologizing to people that she has wronged. So I'm excited to read this and for the Translate-a-thon. Now, since I'm a mood reader, very often I will start a book at the end of one month and it goes into the next month, and so that is the case here as well. It's the 30th of May. I don't think I'm going to have either of these books read by the end of May, so I am currently reading The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. At the moment, so I'm about almost halfway through, and this is following Ren, who currently is at school, and she's trying to carve out a place for herself. She craves power and security. In this society, you can take a test and try to get into a university. She ended up getting the top score of her province and she was able to get into Singard, the military academy, which is the only academy where you don't have to pay. And since she came from poverty, that's what she needed. And she's now here learning how to be a general or a leader. And she has just recently apprenticed to the lore master, so she's learning a little bit about shamanism as well. And I'm so far enjoying this a lot. I've heard that people say Rin is an unlikable character. At the moment, she's very likable to me. We shall see how the series progresses. So the next book that I just started is A Master of Jen, and this is by P. Jelly Clark. I was introduced to him last year, and I fell in love with this world. This is set in his 1910 Cairo series. It has some steampunk, it's alternate history. I just really enjoy it a lot. One of the main features of this is Jen have come back into the world about 40 years ago, and there is a ministry of alchemy, enchantments, and supernatural entities. And the 3 stories, the 2 novellas before this and this are following agents of that ministry. And in this, we are following Fatma, who we met in the first novella, as she's been called on a very interesting case. What has happened so far, and I've read the first 5 chapters, so this happens in the first chapter. It's not a huge spoiler, but she's called in to investigate some dead bodies that were burned. However, it was only the actual bodies. The clothes were fine. Nothing happened to the clothes. And so she's trying to figure out what this is and what is going on. And I love P. Jelly Clark's writing. Very excited to be reading this and back in this world again. Alright, so next I have The Consuming Fire by John Scalzi. This is the second in the Interdependency series. A little bit about the first one. We have Greyland, who has just come to the throne at a time where the wormholes that connected the center of the universe, her home, where the government seat is, are changing. And she's trying to figure out what's going on. this is her continuing with that. They think they have found where the new center of the universe is going to be, and she has some decisions to make. So next I have on my list is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is actually going to be the first thing I read by him. I know he has another fantasy series. One thing that drew me was this cover and like the big massive dragon upon all of the sides. And also, when I start a new author, I do actually like to start with their newest work and jump in there, and then if I like them, I go back and read their back catalog. So since I'm just getting into them and this came out this year, this is the place I decided to start. Really, the only thing I know about this is it sounds like it's a quest novel, which I like the quest novels, and it's supposed to be based off of Viking Norse heritage, Norse mythology, and that is another interest of mine. I prefer Norse mythology over Greek mythology. Next on my list is Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. This follows Yadriel, who is a brujo, and is trying to prove that to his family since he is transgender. And he summons a ghost. He was trying to summon his cousin who had died, and they were trying to figure out how, and ends up getting a schoolmate instead. I have had these next two books on my shelf for a while, and since nobody else at the library has requested them, I just kept renewing. But they are on their fourth request, so I need to get them read so I can return them to the library. And the first of that is Come Tumbling Down, which I've already started. So I know that we are going back to the moors, and we are working with Jack again, who has been body swapped. You find that out pretty early on, so it's not a huge spoiler. Jack and Alexis, Jack's girlfriend, recruit the children of the Wayward House of Children, even though they're not supposed to go on quests. Yeah, they've been going on quests anyway. The next one I need to return is The Hazelwood. I had started it before I got all of the books for the Nebula and Hugo nomination that I hadn't read yet. I have been enjoying it so far. I'm just a little bit of the way in. And I know this follows Alice. I'm at the point where Alice's family has disappeared and she's supposed to go to the Hazelwood to figure out why. Then I have The Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. I have not read anything by her yet, but I have heard her praises sang. I know this is more of a dystopian fiction, and that's not my favorite genre. The title makes me think that it is going to have something to do with religion as well. Alright, the next I have is a short novella called Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh. All I know is this is about a man who is tied to a mysterious wood. It's pretty short, so I think I can get through it here in the month of June. While I primarily like science fiction and fantasy, I do like mixing it up and reading other things. It helps me stay more engaged with the genres that I do love. So I picked up a contemporary YA romance, and that is Counting Down With You. And the main character, Karina, is very focused on her academic studies. Parents go away, and then the bad boy of the school ends up telling people that she is his girlfriend. And it sounds like a pretend dating, which is something I enjoy, and so I am happy to throw something different into my current reading pile. So I'm curious to know what you guys are reading. Please leave me a comment down below to let me know, or if you have a booktube channel, post your link down below so then I can go watch your video. Thank you and have a good day.